Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Dan, for those terrific remarks. I feel a bit like the opposition spokesperson ready to deliver the response to the State of the Union. But I hope Dan won't feel that way. Most commentaries about the future of liberal arts colleges begin and end with a narrative of decline. This one will not. The American University of 1900, historian Lawrence Vasey famously observed, was all but unrecognizable in comparison with the college of 1860. The new emphasis on research, the rise of professional education, and the recognition, particularly among leading public institutions, that universities have a social purpose and obligation to advance knowledge to the widest spectrum of society underscored the nature of the change. A century earlier, David Starr Jordan, the founding president of Stanford, characterized the liberal arts college as, quote, antiquated, belated, arrested, and starved. With time, he predicted, the college will disappear in fact, if not in name. The best will become universities. The others will return to their place as academies and remain, in historian Richard Hofstadter's ungenerous words, precarious, little, denomination-ridden, poverty-stricken institutions of dubious educational standards. No segment of American higher education has had more epitaphs written about it than the liberal arts college sector. 40 years ago, James Axtell published an essay in which he scolded his fellow historians for writing premature obituaries of liberal arts colleges. The obituary they wrote, he observed, reads something like this. Dateline, Washington, July 2nd, 1862. The American Liberal Arts College died today after a prolonged illness. It was 226 years old. Born on the salty backwashes of the Charles River, shortly after the Massachusetts Bay Colony was founded, the scion of Puritan reform and Renaissance civility grew to sturdy usefulness in the colonial years by overseeing America's leaders prior to their war for independence. When the new nation emerged, however, demanding a larger, more expert citizenry, the college was unable to overcome its aristocratic origins. In the 1820s, when Jacksonian democracy was urging needed reforms on American institutions, the college's role in society contracted into a stance of pugnacious conservatism. And today, after a recent cardiac arrest, its heart stopped on the floor of the House of Representatives, just as the roll call for Justin Morrow's Land Grant Act had ended. A decade ago, Paul Neely, a prominent journalist and Williams College trustee, compared the top tier of liberal arts colleges to high-end passenger trains in the late 1940s. I quote, they performed exceptionally well, but people began to use automobiles and planes more often. Eventually, the best passenger trains suffered not just because of direct competition, but because they were isolated. And it did not mean as much to be the best when they were almost the only trains, unquote. More recently, in his sprightly retrospective, Liberal Arts at the Brink, Victor Farrell, President Emeritus of Beloit College, mused, a better title for his book might have been Liberal Arts Colleges, Why I Love Them and Why They Can't Be Saved. A little later, Farrell admits, perhaps a more optimistic title would be Liberal Arts Colleges, Before It's Too Late, Get Your Act Together and Make Common Cause to Save Yourselves, because no one else is going to do it. No one disagrees that there are challenges galore. Distressed business models, shifting demographics, overheated competitive environments, shrinking market demand, unsustainable increases in financial aid, demands for vocational and pre-professional programs, antiquated shared governance systems, a debilitating ambiguity about mission, and many, many more that Dan has addressed with nuance, precision, and optimism. In spite of over 200 years of angst about their imminent demise, liberal arts colleges remain a valued, respected, influential segment of American higher education. Commentators praise their success in preparing future PhDs for careers in the sciences, for their emphases on critical thinking, oral and written communication, visual and quantitative literacy, for developing their students' capacities for empathy, compassion, humility, innovation, and curiosity, and for the fact, of course, that their graduates have distinguished themselves in almost every field of human endeavor. No other sector of higher education has been as successful in creating opportunities for undergraduate research across the curriculum, in encouraging close relationships between students and faculty, and in inculcating a commitment to lifelong learning. Liberal arts colleges represent the poetry in American higher education. But in an increasingly market-driven, utilitarian society, students and their families frequently ask questions that sound like those of the late Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara. Where is your data? Give me something I can put in the computer. Don't give me your poetry. Liberal arts colleges are among the most idealized and least understood institutions in American higher education. The sociologist Burton Clark called them the romantic and mysterious element in our educational system. In The Distinctive College, his elegant, iconic case studies of Antioch, Reed, and Swarthmore, Clark identified an array of conditions encompassing crisis, leadership, unique practices, programmatic distinctiveness, and the readiness for change as the centerpieces of his narratives. But Clark was not merely writing ethnographic histories. His goal was to capture the shared beliefs, attitudes, and values that produce a distinctive organizational saga, what he described as, quote, a historically based, embellished understanding located somewhere between ideology and religion that turns an organization into a community, even a cult, unquote. In its benign state, Clark explained that an organizational saga creates an unparalleled means of unity that provides believers with a deep emotional engagement. This intense pride, loyalty, and sense of being unique makes the leaders of liberal arts colleges behave, in Clark's words, as if they knew a beautiful secret that no one else could ever share. At the darker end of the spectrum, Clark acknowledged that organizational sagas can engage their supporters so intensely as to, quote, produce a striking distortion, with the organization becoming the only reality and the outside world becoming illusion. This can create a feeling, Clark said, that there are really two worlds, the small blessed one of the lucky few and the large routine one of the rest. Such a vision has never been a prescription for success, but it captures the conflicting sentiments of exclusivity and isolation that continue to pervade the liberal arts college sector. Clark concluded The Distinctive College with the mundane observation that an organizational saga can be invaluable in maintaining viability in a competitive market. College leaders understand competition, but their organizational cultures and educational programs naturally focus inward. Until I left a college presidency and joined Mellon, I did not fully appreciate how many colleges and universities really do see themselves as unique, and of course as truly unique when it comes to fundable ideas. With some notable exceptions, liberal arts colleges seldom look for connections with other institutions. They feel comfortable competing for strategic advantage in terms of students, faculty, academic distinction, fundraising, and grants, in the belief that all relevant expertise and experience can be found on one's own campus. This remarkable degree of self-absorption persists despite the fact that colleges and universities do many of the same things, especially, of course, in the realm of teaching and learning. Colleges take on self-contained and distinctive cultures, so that all institutional problems, as Ray Bacchetti observes, are local, and all the resources needed to solve them are, by definition, close at hand. Little energy or thought is given to the experience of others. Few lessons are learned that might inform or enhance the chances of success. Rarely do colleges and universities build on the work of their peers, and seldom do they engage in comparative study. except when they are benchmarking their progress against one another. Not surprisingly, there is even less formal interaction between liberal arts colleges and research universities. And this deeply ingrained mutual disregard, bordering on denial, speaks volumes about the organizational limitations of our highly compartmentalized higher education system. Liberal arts colleges and research universities consistently portray their missions as occupying mutually exclusive, at times antithetical positions with respect to teaching and research. But the reality is certainly far more nuanced. When private research universities of all sizes infuse undergraduate curricula with a strong foundation in liberal education, and flagship public universities allocate scarce resources to honors colleges to create small classes, they are emulating the liberal arts college. Concomitantly, when liberal arts colleges allocate a significant percentage of their instructional budgets to support student-faculty research, frequent sabbaticals, and reduced teaching loads, they are acknowledging the growing connections between teaching and scholarship. Many liberal arts college faculty produce excellent research, just as many research university faculty provide good teaching and excellent research into what contributes to good teaching. In such circumstances, familiarity has inspired competition, but for most institutions, collaboration remains a more distant horizon. This is unfortunate, because at the undergraduate level, in spite of their obvious and celebrated differences in mission and in the scale of resources devoted to the creation of new knowledge, liberal arts colleges and research universities should have a mutual interest in resisting specialization, in sustaining their commitments to general education, in demonstrating that teaching and research are integrally linked, and of course, in controlling costs. Research universities have the resources and the infrastructure that would enable liberal arts colleges to expand their curricular offerings and provide their faculties with extraordinarily interesting scholarly opportunities. And liberal arts colleges have much to share with their university colleagues about getting undergraduates involved in research. But more fundamentally, if research universities really do wish to embrace undergraduate education as a time for reflection, discovering intellectual passions, and balancing private interests and the public good, what Andrew Del Banco has recently called the college idea, then liberal arts colleges have much to share about the experience of integrating big ideas, community engagement, and social values. But another incentive for the research universities is, of course, the opportunity to recruit liberal arts college students into their graduate programs. Liberal arts colleges and research universities are directly connected by their mutual interest in the preparation and development of future faculty, and in the goal of continuing to diversify the professoriate. This underdeveloped partnership is as important for the purposes of improving undergraduate teaching as it is for the potential changes in graduate school training that may better prepare aspiring scholars for successful careers at liberal arts colleges. None of this will happen on a noticeable scale until collaboration becomes a first response rather than an afterthought. Colleges, of course, have shared administrative services for years, particularly in such areas as insurance, energy, telecommunications, purchasing, library collections, registrar functions, food services, campus safety, and technical support. And more recently, college admissions programs are cooperating in organizing recruiting for international students. But with the exception of a few long-standing regional consortia, academic collaboration has proven much more challenging. Amid the tug and pull of cultural, disciplinary, pedagogical, and financial pressures, colleges face a constant stream of self-imposed expectations to educate global citizens, to enable students and faculty to cross disciplinary boundaries, to pursue opportunities for undergraduate research, and to integrate digital technology and cross-disciplinary methodologies into a problem-based curriculum. The pressure to add new programs is unrelenting, as are the curricular deficits and inflexibility that exist at many liberal arts colleges. Here are 6 academic areas that cry out for potential collaboration across the liberal arts college sector and between liberal arts colleges and research universities. 1, liberal arts colleges aspire to internationalize their curriculum, teach the less commonly taught languages, and invigorate or create new programs in critical geopolitical areas such as Latin America, the Middle East and North Africa, South and East Asia. 2, liberal arts colleges want the flexibility to explore intellectual themes that connect departments and disciplines, but do so without creating new majors and without adding new faculty. 3, liberal arts colleges seek to provide undergraduate research opportunities for students outside the sciences. Integrating teaching and research across the curriculum presents a complicated set of financial, pedagogical, and logistical challenges. 4, liberal arts colleges want to support faculty members' integration of the digital humanities into their teaching and scholarship. In order to accomplish this goal, colleges need access to communities of practice and institutional infrastructure that build capacity and that address the challenges of training, standards, critical mass, interoperability, and sustainability. 5, liberal arts colleges also need to use digital technology to create new teaching resources such as virtual labs and to create truly interactive learning platforms for use in introductory courses in subjects such as statistics, mathematics, and modern language. 6, liberal arts colleges need to create arts-based campus cultures that embrace the making of art as an integral component of the life of the mind and a complementary means of connecting different bodies of knowledge. Each of these 6 areas, and a dozen more that you could name, would benefit from multi-institutional partnerships that develop hybrid courses, increase access to specialized curricular offerings, and inspire joint faculty institutes, the strategic use of postdoctoral fellowships and shared faculty appointments, as well as artistic residencies. Virtual departments should be created in fields where course-sharing arrangements enhance faculty development and student learning while controlling cost and encouraging collegial relationships. At a time when liberal arts colleges are desperately trying to complement the scale and intimacy of their social, pedagogical, and organizational strengths with the curricular breadth and opportunities of a larger institution, collaboration among liberal arts colleges and research universities must become a more prominent practice. Finally, I have to admit that in recent years I have occasionally felt like that smug businessman in Mike Nichols' 1967 film, The Graduate, touting a magical panacea, not plastics, but collaboration, and the reaction of presidents, provosts, and deans always reminds me of Dustin Hoffman's character, Benjamin, staring blankly into space through his goggles at the bottom of his family's swimming pool. There are very good reasons why college presidents respond politely and cautiously to such calls. Collaboration is very hard work. It is time-consuming, organizationally complicated, potentially distracting, and politically fractious. And even when it works, faculties remain skeptical. Collaboration is neither a panacea nor a silver bullet. And when it comes to foundation grants, collaboration may feel like a consolation prize. But it is the most underutilized resource in the liberal arts college toolkit. Thank you very much.